South Africa is one of the world's worst offenders when it comes to plastic pollution. We're the 11th worst in plastic leaks into the ocean and 3rd worst on the continent. And plastic, as we know, kills thousands of fish and suffocates coral. People come to our country for our magnificent oceans and what's in them. And still, our government plans to vote against a new global treaty to stop plastic pollution. Why? Well, hopefully Thandile Chinyavanhu from Greenpeace can answer that. A very good evening to you. What's the problem when it comes to this treaty? Why aren't we signing it?
Good evening, Jane, and thank you for having me. I think what's key here is that our South African government has a vested interest in the plastic industry continuing to pollute South Africa and threaten the public health of our country. It's quite clear that one of the largest plastic producers in our country is Sasol, and they contribute the largest amount of plastic. And our government definitely has a vested interest in propping up their business and allowing them to continue to pollute.
What sort of pressure can be put on government? I mean, it's a horrible reputation to have. What can be done?
Well, civil society continues to put pressure, and much like we've seen recently with the Kapawa ship, environmental authorization being denied, it needs for the public as well as civil society to continue to put pressure on our government and shine a light on really what they're doing. And given enough pressure, we have seen that they are able to cave.
And just remind us why government should do this. I mean, we are one of the world's worst polluters when it comes to plastic and flooding our oceans. Just tell us more about how bad it is and what you're seeing.
Well, plastic pollution poses a number of issues, particularly to public health and mental health as a part of that. And as you mentioned, it's very essential that we protect our oceans because South Africa has quite a beautiful array of biodiversity, and our livelihoods depend on that, especially the fisher communities that you may find in the coastal regions depend on this. And ultimately, that food that they source ends up in our diets, on our plates, and ultimately could cause health problems for us in the long term. So it's quite important that South Africa recognize that the public health is at risk and they need to really prioritize this going forward.
All right. And, I mean, other than Sasol and sort of industry waste that's going in, what's man's role? What's the role of the public? I mean, are they chucking in bottles? What's the extent of the abuse there?
Well, I think that recycling is a false solution that's often propelled by carbon majors such as Sasol to make us feel like there's a solution to this plastic waste that us as the public can do. But really, the onus lies with them to act and to reduce the plastic production. The duty of care is with them to really change their model and make sure that we have more sustainable means of addressing the plastic pollution problem. So as the public, maybe something that you can do is move away from using single-use plastics, and move towards a reuse system or refilling system. But ultimately, the onus lies with the carbon majors and our Department of Forest, Fisheries and Environment to implement the regulations that would force them to stop producing plastic.
Okay, well, good luck. I hope you get government to change its mind, though I suspect not in this one. Thandile, very good to talk to you. Thank you.